Hi there, it's Lindsay Smith from Remax Jazz. Thanks for tuning in to another segment of my Friday morning coffee. This is my opportunity every week to kind of fill in the local residents of Oshawa, Whitby, and Clarington on just what's happening with our real estate community. Now, I got my hands on a Remax Ontario Atlantic, which is our main head office. They did a cross-Canada market survey on 2010, and they're forecasting for 2011. And some of the things that I pulled out of that for 2010-2011 is they said 2010 fell short in their opinion over 2009. The values climbed. Now they expect that by the end of this year, so 2010, the values in Canada will climb 7%, but the number of sales dropped by 5%. 2011, they expect values to increase by 3%, but the numbers to stay static as far as sales. Now, when I look at that, that means something to me, but not dramatically a lot, because when I look, it's not across Canada we're dealing with here. We're dealing with a really kind of a nice little tiny area that we want to say, you know, what's happening in the Oshawa, Whitby, Clarington area. So I can tell you. Now, these numbers will all be under my video here, so you can read them. But for the end of November, our prices, the average selling price in Whitby was $317,600. The average in Oshawa was $231,000, and the average in Bowmanville is $260,700. So if I compare the end of November of this year to the end of November 2009, our sales were the same. Whitby had exactly the same amount of sales. Oshawa was up by 7%, and interesting enough, the Bowmanville Curtis area was down by 11%. Real estate's all supply and demand. That's the demand. What's the supply? Which is the number of homes for sale. In Whitby, we were up 11.7% in number of sales this year to date. Oshawa was up by 17%. That's a huge amount. And Bowmanville was up by 9.4%. That's interesting when you see, has there ever been a better time to buy? Our mortgage rates are 3.79% for a 5-year term. That means if you went out and got a $200,000 mortgage, it would cost you $1,030 to carry on a monthly basis. So why is 2011 going to do well for us here locally in our area? Well, the number one thing that I've seen that's different between this recession that we've gone through and the last one in the early 90s that I went through was job instability. I mean, people are worried about jobs. But when I look at what's going on in the Oshawa, Bowmanville, and Whitby area, I look to UOIT and Trent. They're both built huge amounts of square footage in Oshawa, and UOIT seems to be taking over all of downtown Oshawa, which is fantastic. Durham College is building. General Motors. In 2009, they sold 73,800 Camaros. This year, they've sold 87,000 so far. They've just hired 700 new people. This is bringing bodies back in with money to spend, to buy houses, to buy cars, to buy everything. The hospital keeps growing. Lots of renovations there. Darlington Hydro supplies 20% of all of Ontario's hydro, and it is the most reliable plant they've got in existence. So when I look at our area, I think it's fantastic as to the opportunity that we're going to see in 2011. All of this information can be found at soldbylindsay.com on my website. I have an absorption chart on there which breaks down every month. I break down all the sales and all the listings. So if you're a seller and you want to see what's happening in your price range, go ahead and take a look. It's called an absorption chart. If you're a buyer and you want to see what your competition is, how many houses are selling in your price range, just take a look. If there's anything else I can do, just email me or give me a call at 905-434-5222. Have a great December.